I'd like to give you the background of how this thing got started. It was December, we were having our executive meeting, and we were talking about how much money that we were going to give to the cadets. And we upped our financial contribution from the 125 the year before to 200. And then I happened to mention, you know what? Let's see if we can get an hour of flying for each squadron. Somebody said, no way, it's way, way too expensive. And it is expensive, that's for sure. But I said, well, we didn't have the right as an executive to grant that kind of money. So we took it to the membership. I think everybody needs to know it passed unanimously. We were thrilled with that particular outcome. So then I said, let's see if we can get 2 hours. And another member said, there's no way you'll get it. It's just too pricey. And I said, well, let me see if I can speak to the businesses. And the outcome was overwhelming. I'll find out later. I'd now like to introduce the 4 cadet squadrons that we have in Durham Region. Starting from the west, we have Captain Rob Evans. Along with Cadet Officer Bill Horenhue. Moving as we go further east, we have the Oshawa Cadets, and we have Dale Bliss. Where's Dale? And accompanying Dale, we have Officer Di Loretto. In Whitby, we have Keith Wainwright. Keith is a captain, of course, and Keith brought Captain Howie, right?
Yep. Thank you.
And last but not least, out in Bowmanville, we have, oh, there you are, Brandon Kelly. And he's got a colleague who works very closely, Catherine. The cadets started 85 years ago in 1941 in the United Kingdom. And of course, every member of that organization got to fly because they were needed as a result of the war. 4 years later, in 1945, it came to British Columbia. As we go across this land, there are 147 cadet organizations serving over 77,000 youths from the ages of 12 to 18. What a fantastic commitment. So please, cadet people, stay seated. The rest of us stand up. And we need to give them a standing. I remember last year when we're giving them $125, and all the others, I just sent you the money. You know, got a thank you from me. But not Bowmanville. They forced me to go out there and present the check. Wow, what an experience. I saw fantastic discipline, great organization, and just people who were thrilled to be there. So anyway, well, we decided that we would approach all of the businesses to support the endeavor of trying to give each squadron 2 hours of flying. And now I'm going to call on Jeff Page, who's going to introduce our supporters.
My wife Leslie and I have been involved organizing discovery events, Girls Take Flight and COPA for Kids, before that Young Eagles, and more recently it's called Discovery Aviation. So it's been our passion for quite a long time to just introduce aviation, not only flying, but mechanics and avionics and everything else to young kids. And I was so impressed when this initiative was started at COPA Flight 70, and I'm really amazed at how much sponsorship that Wayne has managed to talked you folks out of a lot of money. Because it is going to make such a huge difference. We have taken excess money from Girls Take Flight, and we've done this before. We've taken the people from the Girls Take Flight experience and given them first flight lessons, and that has led to some of them getting their pilot's license. So it really works. It's not a case of we're dumping money, kids are going to go play with it. This is just going to be fantastic. So we really do thank all of the sponsors. So first up is Aviation Unlimited. They're locally here on the field. Isaac Kapur has been a big supporter even of Girls Take Flight a long time ago. And Ryan, I think you want to say a few words?
Yeah. So so Isaac approached me when Wayne came to the office and said, Wayne came up and asked for a donation to support the Air Cadets, and he goes, I gave it to them, and he goes, what do you think? And I was like, yes, absolutely. I'm a scholar of the Air Cadet program. I got my power scholarship. So it means a lot to me that we're able to help and support, because, also as the treasurer of my son's Army Cadet League, I know what happens and I know how important these funds are, because I know how limited you guys are when it comes to D&D and all that kind of stuff. So, I thought it was a fantastic effort. And thank you, Wayne, for putting all this together and being able to support the program, because I know what it means to, especially the kids that aren't quite ready to get their scholarships yet, to be able to put them in an airplane and get them that feeling. A glider is one thing, but there's something different about when you get in a power plane and you can actually control everything and go as far as you want to go. So thank you, Wayne, and we're glad that we could be part of this.
Thanks, Ryan. Next up is Cox Aviation Supplies. Jim Cox has been a supporter forever that I can remember. Back when we were doing Young Eagles, he would sponsor money for the volunteers to have lunch and so on, carrying on the parts business that his father started on the field. I have no idea when, a long time ago. Unfortunately, he was not able to be here tonight, but they've always been great supporters of everything that COPA Flight 70 has done. Durham Flight Center has also been a great supporter. Girls Take Flight, we basically take over the building and wreck it. They move airplanes, they empty their hangar, they do everything, and they've stepped up a game to help us out with this initiative. And of course, they're involved forever, because not only are they offering scholarship money, but they have to administer the program. When we send them kids, they've got to organize getting them with instructors and making all that stuff happen. And Peter, you wanted to say something? Where's Peter?
Oh, Peter can't be here.
Peter can't be here. In that case, he's going to be silent. Lincoln Aviation is a little bit newer on the field. I've known them for a gazillion years from back when they were at Buttonville, and I first bought my Cessna. I had them do my very first annual and inspection before I bought the airplane, and they've always been great supporters. So they're really been helping us out now that they're here on the field with COPA Flight 70 endeavors. So thank you very much. Corporate Aircraft Restorations. Again, when I bought my airplane, I think it was 2005, and probably, I guess it was about a year after that, we brought it to Oshawa, and I made the acquaintance of Mo Nesbitt and his wife Kim, and they've been helping me maintain my airplane forever, doing a great job. But they've always supported not just the big corporate airplanes, which is, I guess, where probably a lot of the revenue is found, but small people building their own airplanes or whatever. Mo always has advice and so on. So we really thank them for stepping up and helping with this. Al Delaney and Colleen Schneider are friends of Wayne. So this was a surprise to me. I'm used to aviation companies on the field saying, yeah, let's sponsor this. But Wayne was talking to his friends and they were saying, well, what are you doing now? And he explained what he was doing, and they just couldn't resist helping out, which is just so impressive. Colleen, you wanted to say something?
My kids have been, went all through cadets with the 151, and so I just wrote a little piece, and I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, but I just wanted to let you know what the Air program has done for my kids in specifics. So I just want to spend a few moments just to speak at a program that's profoundly affected my children's lives. All 4 of my children were Air Cadets and spent the better part of their teen years at the 151 Drill Hall on Center Street, as Dale and Heather can attest to. The cadet experience has helped shape them into confident, resilient, and responsible individuals. Of the 4 children, 2 participated in and completed the glider and the power pilot scholarships. And it's an opportunity they would not have through any other organization. Declan, my oldest, who turned, hard to believe for me, 29 years old last week, became a glider pilot at 16 and a power pilot at 17, and was followed by his sister Caitlin in the same achievement 5 years later. And they ironically are born the same day, 5 years apart. In the training, Declan and Caitlin both faced situations where flights did not go as planned. Tests were difficult, or their personal progress was slower than they hoped for, but each obstacle encouraged them to remain focused, adapt, and try again. And it developed a mindset that embraces challenges rather than fears them. During their gliding training, I had a rule. They couldn't tell me about flights until after they occurred. I didn't want to know about training for stalls, training for spins, or anything like that ahead of time. With power, I could listen to Caitlin on the ATC, and I held my breath when on one flight she blew a tire on landing. She handled the situation with the confidence of a pro. Learning to fly demands the mastery of precision, the ability to make decisions under pressure, and the cultivation of a calm, analytical mind. And these invaluable skills, life skills, shape cadets into capable, confident individuals prepared for the challenges of adult life. And they develop the perseverance required to achieve difficult goals. And the skills learned in the flying program shape life endeavors. Declan learned to fly gliders in Trenton, and then in the following year in 2014, he learned to fly Diamond aircraft in London, Ontario through the Cadet Air Scholarship Program. He continued to return to Trenton for a number of years to pilot gliders, taking Air Cadets up for flights, and flew power as often as he could, but as you know, it's expensive. And he had university ahead. While in Ottawa pursuing an honors degree in economics, he joined the Governor General Swift Guards. He's a captain currently working with CIFNOC, my life has become acronyms, the Canadian Armed Forces Cyber Command, and traveled to Ukraine just prior to the war as a participant in Operation Unifier. And he's trying to get back into flying. He's back into doing private gliding when his career will allow. Caitlin became a glider pilot in 2018 and became a power pilot in 2019 in Windsor again, learning on the Diamond aircraft. She has worked now for several years in the glider training program as a check pilot and a flight instructor in Trenton during the summers, and is currently a second lieutenant with the CFC. She's obtained an honors degree in astrophysics, and now is working on her master's, and recently started an internship with the Canadian Space Agency. Some cadets may pursue careers in aviation, aerospace, or the armed forces, while others carry forward the discipline and the leadership they have honed into entirely different fields. Regardless of the path chosen, every cadet benefits from the self-discipline, the critical thinking, and the confidence developed while learning to fly and working within the Flying Scholarship Program. And the Air Cadet experience is transformative. It equips young people with skills, values, and memories that will last a lifetime, not just in the cockpit, but in every aspect they choose to navigate. Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen. That's just a perfect example of why we're doing all of this, because it definitely makes a huge difference. The next sponsor I want to talk about is Manny Rosario. He's the founder of Enterprise Aviation and Durham Flight Center. And he has been an incredible supporter of everything at this airport for as long as I can remember. When we first started Girls Take Flight, it was a tiny initiative. And we had a couple little tables and a few vendors, and we did discovery flights. And Manny next year is like, no, we got to do this bigger. We got to do this bigger. We got to make it look like a real trade show. It's got to be real. We've got to have pipe and drape and tables and make it look like a real show. And my wife and I are like, we can't afford to pay that. Our budget is like $200. And he's like, well, you take care of it. We came in, because of course it's all organized the night before, right? Some truck drives up, and this Girls Take Flight, pink pipe and drape all over the place. It was amazing. And every year he steps up like that. We do an event fly-in at the airport he bought near Seagrave, Northport, and the same thing. The amount of money he kicks in to make these events successful is just incredible. So we do thank him very much for that. Last is Total Aviation Airport Solutions. They're the manager at the airport here. I think they also manage Wyerton as well.
Yes.
Surprised Steve Wilcox hasn't gotten here.
Yeah.
He wanted to be last because he likes to talk. He would have rivaled Colleen. So in his absence, I'm going to try and guess at least one of the things that he probably would have said, because he's told me this in the past, is that every initiative requires a champion. It's nice to say we've got these ideas. There's lots and lots of ideas. The world is full of ideas. And nothing happens unless somebody actually makes it happen. Somebody has to be the leader that steps up and inspires people to get involved, to do things, and to make it happen. And in this particular case for this initiative, yeah, we had a great idea in December. Let's raise some scholarship money. And in this case, it was Wayne that took on that initiative, and he said, oh, I'll go do it. We all went, yeah, okay, good. And we expected him to come back and say, yeah, I got a couple scholarships. But look at this room full of sponsors. It's incredible. So Wayne, thank you very much.
I traveled to each squadron twice, and the airport about 6 times. And every time I went to the airport, Kevin Welch was not available. Unfortunately, Kevin could not be here tonight. I would usually go down to the viewing window, and I sat on the west side. And on my second visit there, I noticed over on the left seat, there was a young girl, very young. She had a highlighter in her left hand, from the ground up in her right hand. She was studying to get her license. I knew right away. So I introduced myself and I said, how many hours do you have in the air? And she said, 3. But after today, I'll have 4. And I talked to her about her first flight. And what she shared with me was absolutely fantastic. And I begged her, could you do me a favor? She asked, what? Could you please write all of those feelings down, and I'll meet you next week? And so her name was Sally. She was 16. And this is what she wrote. I hope I can get through it. The first time I flew an airplane, I wasn't a passenger. I was a student pilot, and nothing could have prepared me for how that moment would feel. As the engine came to life, the vibrations traveled straight through the seat and into my chest. I remember gripping the controls, suddenly aware that this machine, this tarmac, and the sky were no longer something I was observing. They were something that I was responsible for. The taxi to the runway felt surreal. Like the quiet intake that you do prior to a leap. Then came takeoff. The plane accelerated, the nose lifted, and in a matter of seconds, the ground fell away beneath us. Houses shrank, roads turned into lines, and everything familiar became small. I wasn't just seeing the world differently, I was feeling it differently. Yes, there was fear. Yes, but it was paired with an overwhelming sense of calm and awe. For the first time, I truly understood how much trust the flying you must have in training in the aircraft and in yourself. As we leveled off, the controls felt lighter, almost alive in my hands. Every even small movements mattered. It was just flying through the air. I was learning to listen to it. And when we touched back down, I knew something had changed. That first flight wasn't just a lesson, it was a moment of discovery. And I had crossed an invisible line between dreaming about flying and becoming a pilot. That feeling, that spark, the confidence and the sense of responsibility and possibility, it's exactly what this program is trying to do. I'd like the 4 captains to come up and join me, please. Very briefly, in the cadet organization, there are some main goals, and I'm just going to go over 4. First of all, to develop good citizens. Secondly, there's an emphasis on physical fitness and a healthy lifestyle. And thirdly, leadership skills. It's so impressive when you go, no adults are running these programs, the cadets themselves are, which is a testament to these individuals and their co-workers. In Durham Region, we have approximately 731 cadets in all 4 squadrons, which is fantastic. Remember, COPA's goal was to provide 2 hours of flying for all these people. Captain Kelly. Captain Bliss. You're welcome. Captain Wainwright. Captain Evans. Inside these envelopes, you'll find 5 scholarships. Many hours of flight. Unbelievable, the support. Just fantastic. There's a small amount of money that is left over, and that is going to stay in our COPA bank account for next year, because I want this to be an annual thing. In Canada, there are 117 flights, and Colleen Moore, the president of COPA National, wants this to be sent to every single flight. And if we could get just half of those flights to get 1 or 2 pilots or kids interested, fantastic. So anyway, everybody, thank you for coming.
Well done.